Welcome back to Art and John, Art Kirsch and
John Coleman.
of Celebrating Act Two. And today we're going to talk about a lot of people who are starting businesses over the age of 50. We run into them all the time. Hope you'll share some stories with us so that we can talk about them or put them up on our website. But a funny thing happened several months ago on our way from here to there, and we ran into a guy who invented radio.
Reinvented radio would be more
Yeah.
accurate. His name is Paul Roberts, and his business is called OC Talk Radio. And what's fascinating for us, at any rate, is he's very successful at it, but he did it out of necessity. As I recall, and you can correct me, Art, as I recall, the economy turned his, public relations
He was
business?
in public relations, and especially down here in Orange County when all the auto companies moved out in the 2007, 2008
Right.
period of time. And basically, public relations for small guys like him, he had been very successful.
Sure. But he had a niche.
Disappeared.
He had a niche, and the economy turned everything upside down. And he was, quote, too young to retire. When he told us that he was too young to retire, I thought to myself, because he's got gray hair like we do, I thought, there was an age when somebody our age would say, I'm too young to retire, and people would laugh at him. Because if you had gray hair, you were supposed to retire.
Yeah, and he was certainly in a case where he still was expected to earn income for another 10 or 15 years.
Right. Well, look.
And he was over 50, and he ran into a brick wall of, I'm over 50 and nobody's going to hire me.
Right. And what do I do? So he reinvented himself. He started his own business, a new business called Talk Radio. And he built a little studio.
Yeah,
and he's been very successful.
Part of his interest in that, I think he reveals in the interview we did with him,
Right.
is that he had some experience with a radio station in college.
Yes.
So he had some sense of
Right.
it, but hadn't touched any of that for years.
Yeah.
And certainly wanted to figure out how he could actually sort of stay in the PR world, which he really knew,
Yeah.
by helping people promote themselves
Well,
and their companies on some kind of format that wasn't deadly
Yeah.
expensive, like a video studio.
Sure. What he did is he adapted what he knew to the new technology and to the reality of today's business world. Very smart guy, very talented guy, a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But it's a good lesson for the rest of us, and that is that when you're over 50, you're not dead. You can start a business, you can do anything you pretty much want, and it's in some ways easier because you have a lot of knowledge, you've got a lot of experience.
Contacts.
And contacts, as Paul did. But it's also, I think, important to realize that this is happening a lot. People are constantly starting new businesses when they're over 50, whether it's out of necessity, as Paul did, or whether it's because they want to.
Because I don't want to sit around. And for me, I hope to live for another 20, 30 years and be working constantly throughout, because I just find the interaction with people every day fascinating, meeting people like Paul Roberts.
Sure.
And doing the kind of things that we do on a regular basis.
Yeah. And we've met a lot of people who have started a business, quote, in their later years, over 50, their second act, during their second act.
Right.
So I think that's one of the things that when you go to celebratingact2.com, one of the things you'll look for is those stories about people who are still continuing their love or maybe have started a new business. Great story. We've come across a lot of great people in Celebrating Act 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'd like to come across even more of them by having you send your suggestions to John and myself on stories you'd like to see.
Please do. Please do. We're always looking for great stories. Your story may be great, or you may know somebody who is over 50 and has a fascinating, interesting, and maybe inspirational story that needs to be shared with the rest of the world.
Thank you. See you next time.
Take care.